1979. Fiorano test track, Italy. Gilles Villeneuve, Ferrari's wildest, most fearless driver, climbs out of a 312T after 100 laps of testing. Engineer Mauro Forghieri is waiting with a clipboard, grinning. The test was flawless. 0 mechanical failures. The new transmission worked perfectly. Forghieri asks, "So what do you think?" Villeneuve pauses, then delivers the answer that will delay motorsport history by a decade. A steel shift lever will always be more reliable than electronics. And just like that, Ferrari shelves the most revolutionary transmission technology in racing. The project disappears. No one talks about it. For 10 years, it doesn't exist. But here's the twist. Ferrari never actually abandoned it. They just waited. And when they finally brought it back in 1989, it changed Formula One forever. Then they tried to pretend the whole embarrassing origin story never happened. This is the story of the semi-automatic gearbox, the transmission Ferrari invented twice, denied once, and eventually forced on every supercar buyer whether they liked it or not. The problem: turbo lag was killing Ferrari's speed. Let's rewind to 1978. Ferrari's chief engineer, Mauro Forghieri, had a problem. Turbocharged engines were the new standard in Formula One, but they had brutal turbo lag. Step on the throttle and nothing. Then suddenly, a violent explosion of power that could spin the wheels and destabilize the car. Forghieri realized something. Drivers were spending crucial time managing the clutch and shifter instead of managing turbo lag and throttle input. What if you could eliminate the manual shifting process entirely? Keep both hands on the wheel, eyes on the track, and let hydraulics handle the gear changes. So he built a prototype, high-pressure hydraulic system similar to aircraft landing gear. Buttons mounted on the steering wheel to trigger shifts, no clutch pedal needed except at launch. The system worked perfectly in testing. Villeneuve completed 100 laps without a single failure. But Villeneuve didn't trust it. And at Ferrari, when your superstar driver says no, the answer is no. Enzo Ferrari himself killed the project. Mr. Ferrari always accepted requests from Gilles. The transmission that could have given Ferrari a decade of dominance was buried, and Ferrari never spoke of it again. The resurrection, John Barnard's new idea. Fast forward to 1986. John Barnard, a British engineer with zero knowledge of Forghieri's 1979 prototype, joins Ferrari as technical director. He makes one unusual demand. He'll work for Ferrari, but he's building a design center in England, not Italy. Ferrari's management thinks he's insane, but they agree. Barnard starts working on Ferrari's 1989 car and immediately identifies the same problem Forghieri saw in 1978. Too much time wasted on manual shifting. But now the issue is different. The upcoming 1989 regulations ban turbo engines in favor of naturally aspirated V10s and V12s. These new engines operate in a narrower power band, requiring more frequent gear shifts to stay in the optimal RPM range. Barnard's solution: a semi-automatic transmission with paddle shifters behind the steering wheel. Here's the crazy part. He had no idea Ferrari had already invented this exact system 10 years earlier. By late 1987, Barnard's prototype was ready. It worked. Ferrari committed to using it in the 1989 season. But then Enzo Ferrari died in August 1988, and new management questioned everything. Why are we betting on an unproven transmission? The system had reliability issues, specifically an undersized battery that caused electrical failures. Ferrari's partner, Magneti Marelli, had to redesign the entire electrical system. Barnard stood his ground, and in 1989, the Ferrari 640 became the first Formula One car to race with a semi-automatic paddle shift transmission, the debut, winning first time out, then breaking down. March 26, 1989. Brazilian Grand Prix. Nigel Mansell sits on the grid in the Ferrari 640. No one knows if the transmission will survive the race. Even Ferrari's engineers are nervous. The lights go out. Mansell launches cleanly, paddles clicking as he shifts without lifting his hands from the wheel. Lap after lap, the system works flawlessly. He wins. First race, first victory. The semi-automatic transmission debuts with a statement. But here's what Ferrari doesn't advertise. The system was unreliable for years. Electrical failures, hydraulic leaks, software glitches. Other teams watched Ferrari's struggles and improved on the design. Williams developed a sequential shift system inspired by motorcycles that was more compact and required fewer actuators. By the mid-1990s, every F1 team had semi-automatic transmissions. Ferrari's advantage evaporated, but they had one more trick left, bringing the technology to road cars before anyone else. The road car gamble, the F355 F1. 1997. Ferrari unveils the 355 F1 Berlinetta. It's the first road car ever offered with a Formula One-style paddle shift transmission. No clutch pedal, no traditional gear lever, just paddles behind the steering wheel and an electro-hydraulic system that shifts in milliseconds. Here's the controversial part. The gearbox itself was identical to the manual 355. Same 6 speeds, same internals. Ferrari just added an automated clutch and hydraulic actuators, but they charged a premium for it and marketed it as revolutionary technology. Critics hated it. Early versions were jerky, slow in traffic, and overheated in city driving. Traditional Ferrari buyers complained it took away the soul of driving. But Ferrari didn't care. They saw the future. Automated transmissions would be faster, more reliable, and eventually more desirable than manuals. The domination, killing the manual. Ferrari kept improving the system. The 599 GTB Fiorano in 2006 introduced F1 Superfast, cutting shift times to just 100 milliseconds. Then in 2008, the California debuted Ferrari's first dual-clutch transmission, 2 clutches that pre-engage the next gear for seamless shifts. In 2009, the 458 Italia came with dual clutch only, no manual option. Ferrari's message was clear. Automated transmissions are superior. If you want 3 pedals, buy a Porsche. The last manual Ferrari rolled off the production line in 2011. Every Ferrari since then has been automatic or dual clutch only. The secret they buried. Forghieri's 1979 prototype. Here's what makes this story incredible. Ferrari invented the semi-automatic transmission in 1979, tested it successfully, then buried it because one driver didn't like it. 10 years later, they reinvented the exact same technology and took credit for revolutionizing motorsport. For years, Ferrari never acknowledged Forghieri's 1979 prototype. They let John Barnard take all the credit. Only decades later did the truth come out through interviews with retired engineers. Why did Ferrari hide this? Probably because it's embarrassing. They had a 10-year head start on semi-automatic transmissions and threw it away. Imagine if Ferrari had raced that system in 1980. They could have dominated the entire decade. Instead, they let one driver's gut feeling kill the project, and motorsport history was delayed by a decade. The legacy. The transmission that changed everything. Today, every single Formula One car uses a semi-automatic transmission. Every modern supercar, Ferrari, Lamborghini, McLaren, Porsche, uses dual clutch or automated manuals. Even economy cars have paddle shifters. Ferrari pioneered it, then denied it, then claimed they invented it, then forced it on customers who didn't want it. And you know what? They were right. Automated transmissions are faster, more reliable, and better than manuals in almost every measurable way. But Ferrari never wanted you to know the messy truth. They invented this technology in 1979, shelved it for 10 years, reinvented it in 1989, and spent decades pretending the first attempt never happened. The semi-automatic transmission wasn't just a technological revolution. It was Ferrari's most successful cover-up.